One of the things to remember is most houses built after World War II, they're going to have drywall walls. If you have plaster walls, you have walls that have the horsehair and lathes behind them, you're going to have to use a slightly different technique. Again, we're doing something that's a little basic, something that's going to be the most common. If you have questions on how to do something a little more advanced like that, definitely come into Lowe's. We can give you the right materials and give you a few pointers on how to work with that. Once you have your plug in place, again, we're just going to put some drywall and joint compound over it, feathering it in. Now for all these, after your drywall is dried, the prep's going to be the same finish here. You're going to just lightly sand it, primer it, and paint it. We're going to show you that here in a few seconds. One of the things you also want to remember is after you put your joint compound on, a lot of times you're going to go back for the second coat. The reason for that, joint compound will shrink up a little bit as it dries, so you want to make sure it's nice and level. The idea here is to try to make it look like nothing actually happened. I learned how to do that pretty well in my teenage years. Now while Travis finished that, real quick, Matt's going to show you, since this hasn't gone all the way through, we're just going to put some joint compound right over top. So we're going to build it up a little bit more than just filling in the hole, so that way it's going to actually, when it shrinks up, it's going to look a little more flush, and you're going to have enough room to be able to feather it in. Now for our last one, we're going to have Travis do this one. Obviously, we don't have a patch big enough to just be able to do this. This is a little more advanced. It's more a traditional way to fix drywall. And all you really need to do it is a spare piece of drywall, just a small section, a little bit bigger than the hole. You need your utility knife, you need a drywall saw, and then you need some drywall tape. And in this case, we're actually using this right here, this mesh. It's adhesive, so when you put it on, it'll actually stick and stay in place. That way, as you put your joint compound over it, you're not going to be wrestling with a piece of paper falling. What they're doing right now is measuring it, making sure that they get a nice straight line on it. Straight lines are a little easier than circles sometimes. Like this is always much easier when you have a second set of hands to help you out with it. Right now they're just using a little square so that they can get a nice firm straight line across. Again, they're going to use the utility knife, and luckily we're right by Hammond in case something goes wrong. Again, they're not cutting all the way to the back of the drywall, we're just scoring the surface here.
They're making the hole quite a bit bigger than the original hole. Is there like a reason that you're going that far beyond the original hole?
Yeah, because of the fact that it's going to be easier for us to patch with. And when I show you the piece that we're using here, we're actually going to be taking another piece of drywall and cutting it to fit in there. once again, what we're going to use is a drywall knife just to cut through the drywall saw. One of the things with the drywall, a lot of dust is going to come out. One of the things we do is we keep a shop vac around. That way, as it's cutting, you can hold it up against it, catch any of the dust that's coming down. Makes clean up a lot easier. Once they've cut from the actual hole to the score mark, you're going to be able to just snap it away. Much easier way is to cut from the hole to the corner. Like I said, for this patch, we're just using a spare piece of drywall. Since this is going to be a large hole and there's nothing to attach it to, we're going to take a small piece of wood, put it in there as a backer, a support. And when we do this, what he's going to do, slide it into the hole. He's going to take a drill with some drywall screws. We're going to attach them to the existing wall about an inch away from the edge. What this is going to do is give us a back to put our patched drywall right up against it. In addition to putting the screws in, always a good idea to put some construction adhesive, any kind of glue, tighten it up against there. That way, over time, it's going to keep it from shifting away, keep the wood from settling back. Any of the screws that pop, you're going to have that second way to hold it in place. Now again, what he's doing is measuring the hole, make sure it's the right size. Generally, it's a little bit easier to have your piece patch piece, and cut the hole to be the same size. In this instance, because we're up here, we're just going to cut it